This is me.
Just kidding. This is me.
My name is Amanda, and welcome to my podcast where I will be talking about pop culture, music,
Film, drama, and fan videos. Hello and welcome back to my channel, Always Popular. I'm Amanda, your host, and let's jump into this week's episode. Do you ever think of your favorite pop star fading away one day and all their hype disappears? Sadly, in pop culture and in pop music, sometimes it happens to certain pop singers, particularly in female singers. From my perspective of growing up as a teenager to a young adult now, I have realized that it seems like by a certain time in a pop star's career, by the time in their 30s, they are declining and a new generation of new female pop stars take their spot. Well, that's exactly what we are going to be doing a deep dive on today. This is on the shelf life of a pop star. Basically, when a new female singer breaks through into music, normally all eyes are on that one particular person. They become the newest pop star on the scene or the newest it girl on the scene. Normally, that would last for about a year or two. For example, right now, that one person is Olivia Rodrigo. For example, if you grew up in the early 2000s like me, there were multiple female pop singers on the horizon. However, it seemed like everything was all about Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera. They were all successful, talked about a lot in the media, and were very popular. Now I don't hear any new news on any of them whatsoever, even though they are still talked about in some way. However, it's just not their time anymore. Every person I will mention in this video has a specific background and specific reasons on why they are not as relevant as they used to be, but that doesn't mean that they aren't doing bad now. Some people are in a better place now than they used to be. Interestingly enough, around the time they were reaching their 30s or older, their career started to decline, whether if it was their fault or not. The first example I would use is Britney Spears, who started to decline in 2007 and 2008. Britney was 27 around the time of her first mental breakdown in front of the entire world to see. Most fans that have followed Britney saw her downfall, witnessed her being bullied by the world, and her 2007 VMAs was later turned into a joke on Nickelodeon's iCarly TV show titled I Fix a Pop Star. Around this time, everybody had something to say about Britney. It was just one negative thing after another. Of course, Britney would have had a better career if it wasn't for her family and her conservatorship that kept her from living her life. By the time it was 2011 when her career was getting back to normal, she had hit songs like Hold It Against Me and I Wanna Go. In 2013, she was a guest judge on The X Factor and released the hit single Work Bitch. After 2016, it seems like she hasn't been doing much. However, honestly, I feel that she's just done with everyone and everything. She's probably overtired, exhausted, and over it. She wants her life back and the world owes her an apology. She deserves way better and should be in charge of her own life, especially since now she's over 40. Now moving on to my other favorite 90s singer, Christina Aguilera. Christina, who blasted out in the early 2000s like Britney with classic hit songs like Genie in a Bottle, Come On Over, and Beautiful. Christina was a voice hard to miss. She could belt out like no tomorrow and had a great pop sound like Britney. She won Best New Artist at the Grammys against her biggest rival Britney and had a very successful career as well. Christina had her fair share of critics and haters too. However, at least she had time to breathe and wasn't stalked like a little puppy like Britney was. Christina was praised for her big voice at a young age and became an overnight success. By the time that Dirty came out, she started some controversy with new music and her sexier dance moves. Like Britney, she was criticized for not being a good role model. Flash forward to 2010, her sixth album, Biponic, was released. However, it wasn't up to the same standards as her past music. It's not memorable at all. However, at least she did better with Burlesque that came out the same year. 2010 was referred to as the year of her downfall, and she was about 30 years old when this happened. Her summer tour didn't sell, and there were rumors that her label wanted to drop her. Things weren't looking good for Christina, and since then I haven't heard anything from her except for her being on The Voice. Another particular pop star who I recently did another episode on is Katy Perry, another 2000 superstar. However, it wasn't until 2008 until she had success. She skyrocketed to mainstream success with radio pop hits like I Kissed a Girl and Hot and Cold. She was doing really well and was bigger as the years went by. Teenage Dream kicked off the 2010 decade to a great start in pop music, and it was certainly her year and time to shine. She was the first female pop artist to get 5 #1 hit singles for one album. By the time after Prism came out in 2013, when she was 28, she was still going strong with huge hits like Dark Horse and Roar. Both music videos are two of the most viewed music videos in her career, with now over 3 billion views. She got nominated for a Grammy for Best Pop Vocal Album. After the success of Prism, when Witness, her next album, came out, she was 32, and around this time it felt like the general public started losing interest in her. Also around this time, she reportedly was feuding with Taylor Swift, and her career was starting to fizzle out. Despite releasing music in 2020, Katy, now who is 38 years old, isn't doing much in her career. However, in my previous video, I feel that she has different priorities in her life now. Now moving on to the next generation of pop singers who came after the 90s superstars. In 2006, Miley Cyrus came along on the Disney Channel. By the time Miley was 14, she started on her new hit TV show called Hannah Montana. The show turned her into the biggest star off of the Disney Channel and catapulted her career as the newest tween sensation. She had a very successful TV show, was about to go on tour, and even had a 3D concert movie. She was the it girl everywhere, to the point the world was referring to her success as Miley Mania in 2007 to 2009. She had a sold-out concert tour, the Best of Both Worlds tour, which drew in over 1 million fans. Her TV character, Hannah Montana, had 2 previous #1 successful albums for a very popular teenage show, and she was winning Kids' Choice Awards left and right. However, now Miley is all grown up and is still killing the game at 30 years old. With more than a decade-long career, she's still going strong. With her massive song Flowers, that was the biggest #1 hit song in pop music this year, and her new album, Endless Summer Vacation, is doing well. Miley's hype has definitely died down over the years. However, she still finds a way to stay successful and talked about, whether if it's raunchy or not. My second to last example would be Taylor Swift. Currently on top of pop music right now is indeed Taylor. However, it's not how it started out at all. The once country teen singer was starting out in 2006. However, it wasn't until 2008 when Fearless came out and her early world domination started to begin. With early big hits like You Belong With Me and Love Story, the album has done well and is now a diamond-selling album with over 10 million copies sold in the US. Flash forward to 2014, she went full-blown pop, leaving her country roots behind, with more radio play, a little bit of controversy, and new hits like Shake It Off and Blank Space. She became even more popular to the US and worldwide. Now, as one of the biggest names in entertainment, Taylor has achieved multiple awards and special milestones in music. She's one of the world's most awarded female artists with many VMAs, CMAs, and multiple Grammys. Now with 10 albums released in 2022 at 33 years old, she is still doing well. Her current tour, the Eras Tour, is getting good reviews and has been blowing up all over the internet. And one of her country albums, Speak Now, Taylor's version, has been released, so she's definitely not going anywhere anytime soon. My last example would be Demi Lovato, who also launched on the Disney Channel around the time Miley was. In 2007, she was on a short series called As the Bell Rings. Later in 2008, she starred in her first big movie called Camp Rock as Mitchie, a girl with big dreams to become a singer. She shortly released her first solo album, Don't Forget, in September of that year. She became a big deal that summer, and she was doing interviews, getting noticed everywhere she went, and the following year ended up getting her first TV show on the Disney Channel called Sunny with a Chance. Everything was looking up for her. However, she was having a lot of personal issues that were highlighted in the media around the time in 2010. Everything went downhill for her very quickly. However, today, at the age of 30, she's not talked about that much for her music. However, more about her personal problems and controversies. She keeps inserting herself in meaningless drama and has had questionable actions over the years. Honestly, Demi isn't as relevant and popular when she was about 16 and or 18 during her Disney days. However, she still makes good music, has had moderate success, and went on tour just recently last year for her new album, Holy Fuck. Also, it seems like she has become unlikable over the years as well. No offense to her, because I know she's gone through a lot. It's just sad because she needs to focus more on herself than on other people. Lastly, before I go, everyone has a place in pop culture and everyone has a different path and success story. Not every teen idol is meant to be successful as an adult entertainer. Sometimes, maybe it's for the better. Also, some people may be better at handling fame, so maybe some people are meant to be bigger than others for a reason. Anyway, once again, thanks for listening and watching, and you'll hear me in the next episode.